All right, so yes, today I have the pleasure of introducing to you the Global Accreditation Experience Index and the Global Accreditation Coverage Count, which, yeah, as previously mentioned, there are two new indicators to kind of benchmark accreditation competency across countries, and very exciting. We have a time series for this, so yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so one of our main goals is to kind of quantify this relationship or establish a relationship between economic development and quality infrastructure. And as you know, accreditation is one of the core pillars of quality infrastructure. And in our attempt to do this, we noted that there is no time series data looking at accreditation competency across countries. So we were driven to create the Global Accreditation Experience Index, or the GQII, and the Global Accreditation Coverage Count, or the GAC. So the GQII is looking at the breadth of accreditation scope coverage and the duration of this coverage. And the GAC is just a count of the different scopes covered by economies. And to do this, we rely on data from the signature dates from the International Accreditation Forum Multilateral Recognition Agreement and the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation Mutual Recognition Agreement. We use the signature dates for the different scopes because these provide a formal recognition of competent accreditation bodies, and we understand that before an accreditation body is a signatory, they undergo a very rigorous peer evaluation, and they must prove that they comply with all the requirements so that the results are compatible. Anyway, so we use the signature dates from ILAC and IAF, and actually the data was verified by both bodies, and we have a period of 2000 to 2025. Of course, these indicators are dynamic and they're extendable, so next year we can recalculate and get this index for 2026. And the coverage so far is 119 economies. But of course, as more signatures appear, we can recalculate to include them. Next slide, please. Okay, so here you can see we have three versions of the two indices. The first version includes the IAF MLA and ILAC MRA level 2 and 3 accreditation scopes, and this you see in blue. Then for a more granular version, we look to the IAF MLA level 5 scopes, which you see in purple. And finally, for an even more granular approach, and also to include the private certification schemes, we include this in version 3. So this is the most granular version of the data that we have. Next slide, please. Okay, so here you can see a little bit about the methodology. What we try to do is we try to relate the coverage, so all of the accreditation scopes that a country or an economy is providing coverage for, as well as duration of time that they provide this coverage in relation to all the accreditation scopes that are available, and the length of time that these scopes have been available. So you see here a little equation and a little timeline to kind of explain this. Next. Next here, I present you some countries, and you can see the accreditation trajectory here. What is very interesting is, first of all, there's the max score. So this is taking into account all the accreditation scopes from the earliest year that they were introduced. So this is the highest possible score that any economy could have. And just below is Germany with the highest, which you will see later. And what's interesting is that with this mapping of the trajectory, you can see which economies may have started their accreditation journey a little bit later and then significantly advanced by signing multiple scopes and providing coverage for more scopes. And then some economies, they may have started a little bit earlier, but then lagged. One interesting case is with Italy and Brazil, where you can see in the beginning they are kind of similar, where Brazil was leading and then Italy just below. But then after 2020, when more private certification schemes were introduced, Italy became a signatory to all of those, and maybe not as maybe a little bit earlier than Brazil. So Brazil actually went down a little bit while Italy went up. And you can see similar cases here with the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Tunisia, Kenya, Jamaica. Of course, these are just a few economies, and yeah, there are more. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here I present the top 10 economies according to the version. You can see version 1, 2, and 3, and this is just for 2025. So at the top, always you see the maximum score, and you can see the top 10 economies. What is very fascinating here, if you look at version 3, the first in the ranking is Germany. But if you go to the next slide, please. Here, which is the accreditation coverage count, the GAC that I presented earlier, if you look at version 3, the top is Italy. And maybe you wonder why this is the case. This is taking into account when the countries signed or the economy has signed. Because, for example, maybe, or actually it's not maybe, it's the case that Italy signed for more accreditation scopes compared to Germany, but may not have signed the earlier scopes as when they were introduced. So there was a little bit delay. So it's important to note that if an economy has signed as soon as a scope is introduced, they have a higher score, and the longer you delay, it's a lower score in this case. Next slide, please. And here I want to present just a snapshot of the Global Accreditation Experience Index for 2025 and the number of CAPs per million of inhabitants, the log form. And I want to be clear that this is not showing a causality or any kind of relationship. I just want to show you the snapshot to show the score in relation to how much CAPs are in the country. So two interesting things to point out. In coming down after 10, so economies with a GQII score of maybe 12 and more, you see this little group here, this cluster, they seem to have a little bit more CAPs, and of course, this is driven by population. It's also driven by the economy, very strongly by the economy and their economic activity. Another interesting thing here is you can see this line of economies, all of them with the same score in the GQII. And this is because they are served by the same regional accreditation body, so STADCAS. And of course, they have the same score because the STADCAS signed for the scopes, all of them. And they have really different amounts of labs. So this is interesting thing that you can see. The next slide, please. And this brings me kind of to the end of the presentation. And yeah, I'm very happy to present both of these indices to you. And we hope that we could use these in economic impact assessments, which we're currently working on, and hope to present you this report hopefully until the end of this year, and the next report on the economic impact assessment in the beginning of next year. Thank you so much, and I hand over now to Stefan.